Your memory's better than mine.
Well, apparently St Sixtus is to be banned. So Celtic, am I just being a relay for between St Sixtus and Celtic Dreams accounts? Are they just the beggars? Oh, Christopher's called them the beggars. I like it.
Yes.
It's like that. What was the song? The Quadrophenians. That the line in that song about who's the beggars now. Still, I don't know if you recall it, but it's there's a line in one of the songs.
What song is it?
I can't quite remember what it was now, but who the hell who you calling the beggars now? So anyway, whenever I hear it, it gives me goose pimples because the roles are reversed. So anyway, never mind. Moving on.
Well and truly.
The beggars it is.
Well, as well as being in the old chat room there, you can get in touch via Twitter if you want. You can interact with us there. Send your tweets to @halftheworld88. That's @halftheworld88. So I think it's fair to say the Sevco build-up is what we're mostly going to be focusing on tonight. But as you said right at the start of the show there, Pat, it's a couple of months since we've done a bloody podcast, so there has been a bit of football played between then and now. And we've had there's been some indifferent performances during that period, and we were knocked off our perch at the top of the table by the Dandy Dons, Aberdeen, for a little while, and there was a little bit of, I don't know, cheekiness and going on, saying, oh, you know, is our bottle going, and all this stuff about rather have the points in the bag than the games in hand. But we're hanging on in there, and we've found ourselves back at the top of the league, and I think we've got a game in hand again just now. So, but it's been, well, I'll ask you before I give you my own view. Is it given a bit of interest to the league campaign this season? I always think we can never win, whatever happens. If we're coasting the league, then everybody's saying it's absolute shit because we're coasting the league. And then when, you know, we are under a bit of pressure, this is absolute shit. We should be blowing this mob away. We can never seem to win. It's our good old fickle fans as usual. But I don't know, Liam, have you been enjoying the football you've seen, or enjoying the way the league campaign's going just now? Or
to be honest, it's a lot more interesting than I thought it was going to be. You know, the script that the Daily Record and these other mobs are trying to put out is that, you know, oh, we miss Rangers, we need Rangers, you know.
Yep.
You know, but what we need is a challenge.
Yes.
And personally, I don't really care if that challenge comes for Aberdeen, Dundee United, whoever, as long as there is a challenge. And fair play to Aberdeen, they are giving us a challenge this season. And that's good, that's to be encouraged. You know, they talk about the benefit of Scottish football. It's like, this is probably the first time in about 25 years that Aberdeen and Dundee United have even a small chance of actually winning the league. So surely that's got to be good for Scottish football rather than trying to put a tribute act back into the top tiers, you know?
No, absolutely. But again, with Aberdeen, I mean, I think there's no doubt that Aberdeen have improved under... It's Derek McInnes that's there just now as their manager, isn't it?
Sorry.
Yeah, Derek McInnes. So, I mean, he's given them a bit of a season-on-season improvement, I suppose. And he has brought in he's got a few decent players under him there, and it's great to see. I know you've got a bit of a soft spot for Dundee United, Pat, as you always say, but it is good to see the kind of those teams that it's kind of like back to the days of the 80s when, because I remember when I was growing up, it was Celtic, Aberdeen, and Dundee United. The old former team they were a kind of also rans in the league a lot of the time in those days that I remember, and your main challengers were Aberdeen and Dundee United, the old Ralph Milne days of Dundee United, and that kind of thing. So I must admit, I've been enjoying the kind of aspect that it's a bit closer than it could be. Obviously, I love to see us winning games all the time, and I'd love to see us blowing teams out of the water. But it's difficult to say that have Aberdeen and Dundee United improved so much, or have we just I guess got worse since the last season or two. I mean, what's your take on it, Pat? Are we going down a slippery slope, or have Aberdeen and Dundee United upped their game significantly?
I don't even think it's just Aberdeen, Dundee United. I mean, you got to look. Inverness are above Dundee United in the league. So it's not just them. Dundee United. People are talking about Dundee United, and it's yeah, they have done well. And Aberdeen, to be fair to them, I mean, they were on a pretty amazing run. The last couple of games they drew. I got up last Saturday morning, early Saturday morning for us to watch the game against St Johnstone. I've been sort of trying to tune into some of those early Saturday morning games for us for Scottish football. Those what was the other game I got up for? Oh, the Rangers and Hearts game, which was quite funny.
Yeah,
I can't believe I got up early in the morning to watch it. Flipping thing, it lasted 20 minutes, but never mind. And it was fucking even the 20 minutes was dreadful.
The Royal Rumble went on in the stadium afterwards, wouldn't it?
Oh, I was watching. It was actually, they showed all of that stuff. And Channel Dave, yeah, they were showing all that stuff at the end of it, and it was because there's nothing else to talk about. They had to fill in space, obviously. So they're chatting to people at the sort of pitch level, and it was the game should never have been played. How it should have been, and the pitch was getting better, and they were just contradicting each other. But then they started showing sort of footage of the fans leaving the ground and stuff. You could just see them all having a go at each other, try to break through barriers and stuff like that. And obviously they had to pass pretty much a very subtle comment. There was nothing really significant about it, but they were certainly passing comment about the fans trying to get to each other and stuff. And you just knew there was going to be trouble outside. So I didn't watch the build up to it because I think I missed all the stuff outside the ground or whatever, which would have been pretty funny to see. But caught a bit of it on YouTube a bit later. So, but anyway, getting back to sort of Aberdeen stuff. They were on. Where did they go? Something like 7 or 8 games unbeaten. I mean, the last couple of games were draws, but you think again they were 3-1 down against Dundee. I don't know if you saw even the highlights. I still like watching the.
I did actually. I saw the goals of that game. Yeah,
and great goals and stuff, and it was a really good. I mean, to be fair, I mean, if that was us, you'd be pretty rapt that they came back from 3-1 down so late in the game and still pinched a point. You know what I mean? And it's. I think it was kind of that people talk about, those who are in contention for games for leagues and stuff. Those are the sort of games that can kind of win it for you and stuff. But I think the St Johnstone game, like St Johnstone I know they're kind of doing okay in the league. I think they're sort of mid-table-ish, but they didn't really do much against Aberdeen, and Aberdeen just didn't look that effective. Now, I don't know if they get injuries or not, but they just didn't look that effective going forward and stuff. So. I don't know. It was a nice kind of. I wouldn't be surprised if he did sort of do another push. You know what I mean? It just depends how we react to it. And the bottom line is when it builds up a bit of tension whenever we sort of play against them next, and even Dundee United as well, and Inverness. Those games, you could maybe rest a couple of players. Sort of middle of winter and stuff like that. And you're up against I don't know St Johnstone away or Inverness away, Aberdeen away. You can't really do that now because they're, if you got Inverness taking points off you and Dundee United and Aberdeen, it could get a bit sticky towards the end of it. But I just think we're too strong ultimately. But I guess it depends on our Europa League run as well, whether we're a bit distracted by that. So I don't think we've got many sort of tricky ones coming up from what I remember. Got Dundee on Saturday, isn't it? Yeah, Dundee away on Saturday. But I don't think any of the bigger games, if you know what I mean. I don't think we were playing Aberdeen. I don't think we play Aberdeen for another month or so ananyway, from what I remember.
I'll need to check the fixtures because I haven't even looked that far ahead, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure there was one sort of tricky one. I think it was against St Johnstone. And I can't remember if it was home or away. But I think that's about it. I think it was nothing. I think it was some relatively, should be in theory, straightforward games. But I got mixed in with the Inter Milan game, so I think it was March was a bit of a trickier one from what I remember. I'm sure there was Aberdeen in there, but again, home and away I can't remember. I'll go and check now and we're having a chat.
I think my biggest frustration over the last couple of months, I suppose, since we've been doing the podcasts has been, again, it's still the lack of consistency. I think we played Kelly. And we beat them, was it 2-0, I think, down at Rugby Park. And I thought we played really well in that game. We were quite comfortable. We had a bit of a slow start. But then we were in complete control and we played some nice football and you thought, right, here we go. And then the next game, I can't remember who it was after we played Kelly, but I just remember thinking, Christ, here we go again. It's just back to this inconsistent level of performance and just not being able to maintain it.
Yeah, but it was Hamilton away after the Kelly game. So it's been Hamilton.
Right, okay. We still managed to get a win in that game, though, didn't we?
Well, that's it. I mean, but those have been the Ross County game and the Hamilton game. To me, were those are the sort of games that are going to win you championships, because they didn't play particularly well, but they got a result. Ross County, it was 1-0, but it was 1-0, relatively kind of cruisy, apart from a little sort of spurt at the end of it where, Ross County had a couple of sort of half chances. But we spanked Motherwell. That was Hamilton was 2 cracking goals, to be fair. I mean, Liam Henderson one was an absolute.
It was a really good strike, yeah.
And Matthews the first one, obviously, top corner. But
that was a belter.
Exactly. So I mean, it was 2 cracking goals to beat Hamilton, but and Hamilton I didn't think were that bad actually.
They're a decent team. They're a decent team, and I think the thing during that game as well, it was bizarre the way it worked out actually, because it was one of those games that was on. It wasn't on over here now. It's not Setanta Sports anymore. It's a channel called BN Sports. So they bought Setanta out, but I was watching it with Jimmy Malk actually, and we were streaming it up on the screen, and at half time, because it wasn't on the TV channel, it was on their streaming channel. There's no adverts on it, so when it's half time, it's basically you're looking at the camera, which is looking at the part, but you've still got the sound and all the rest of it. And of course, that was the game that little Jay Beattie had been invited to the game. Hamilton, the directors, had invited VJ over. And I think as they announced him when he was coming out, his 2 favourite teams, Hamilton Accies and Celtic sort of thing. So, but it was great because at the time, I remember reading about it weeks beforehand. But at the time, I was just, myself and Jim were watching it, I'm thinking, what's going on here? Because you could tell the camera was way up the other end of the ground, from where VJ was, so he was down in front of the Celtic fans. But you could hear, there was some singing going on and stuff, and you could see this figure running about. I'm thinking, what's going on here? And then once they started shouting, there's only one JB, and it all clicked again. But it was bizarre, because had that been on the normal channel, we wouldn't have seen any of that at all over here. We wouldn't have known that until we'd seen the clips of it and stuff like that on YouTube. But it was quite nice during that game to actually see a nice bit of half-time entertainment, VJ coming out as well. It was quite good. But anyway, lads, let's get on to talking about a bit of build-up to this game on Sunday, because it's what most people are talking about, and it's in everybody's minds. And I'm going to actually read out something, because Liam, you pulled together a little list, as you do, for us, mate, of things that we should try and cover on the shows. But I'm going to actually read your first point verbatim, because I think you've put it very beautifully and eloquently, mate. So I'll just read this out, and then let's get your thoughts on it, lads. So it's the death and unholy resurrection of, and in quotes, Rangers. How do we feel about the ongoing pathetic crusade in the Scottish mainstream media to try and force down our throats the myth that Rangers didn't die? Now, I'm going to ask you first of all, Liam, because you came up with this little gem anyway, but and I know in your past life you've been very close to the journalism and stuff like that back in Scotland as well. But what's your take on it? Because you've obviously got a keen view on what's going on with that stuff. But what's your own thoughts on it, Liam?
Well, I mean, first of all, as a journalist, I mean, I still write now, but nothing to do with Scotland anymore. I write blogs about Japan, but
yeah.
But as a journalist, it really infuriates me, the total lack of integrity that that basically the entire Scottish mainstream media seems to be showing in this. Whether it's out of fear or self-preservation, I don't know. But the fact is that they are inventing a story which is not a story.
Yeah. Simply
out of appeasement to a minority of thugs and morons who just want to cause trouble. And, it's a cliche, but they say that a reporter's first allegiance should always be to the truth.
Yeah.
And these people have just abandoned all pretense of that. Instead, we're going to just toe the party line that the Huns didn't die. And, you know, it's